All that he wants is a little basing. He'll be done tomorrow. God. All that he wants is a little basing. He'll be done tomorrow. Hey, this is Tabletop Plus episode 5, where we finish off our 10-minute Ultramarine. So this is the ace of basing. Right, so episode 5, the last step for our 10-minute Ultramarine. We have basing. Now, there's a couple different ways to base them, and I'll go over them a little bit here. You can go all the way back to the 80s, when you used to use flock and glue, and then do a nice little green ring, the goblin green ring all the way around the outside. That's classic. It's a throwback. Be perfect. There's a couple other things here. You could do just a little bit of PVA glue and some rocks. I use Elmer's and just smear it on, and then just kind of take your basing material. And in this case, I used Citadel sand and just dipped it in and moved it around and called it a day. But you can get as fancy as you want with a base. You don't have to be as simple as that. You can go do anything from using little bits of cork to generate rock, to pieces of plastic card and PVC to make fancy, weird space bases. Here's some diamond plating I've used for some bases in the past. When you want to have a really fancy special model like what I've got here, this is a Raven Guard I made for a kill team. He's the leader that I've got, and you can see here, looks like it's coming through clearly enough, that I took a combination of cork mixed with some sand and also some plastic card to make what looks like a piece of rubble, and then some paper clip edges to make it seem like rebar, and painted it up all nice. And there's many different ways to base a model. As far as getting materials, there's a couple different ways you can do that. Obviously, there's the obvious, go out and buy some Citadel sand, or Army Painter has this Battlefield Rocks set, as well as if you want to add some grass tufts, you can either get them from Citadel or Army Painter. You can make them yourself. You can buy such stuff as anything for railroads modeling. Works really well. It's all completely usable. Or if you're on a budget, you can swing by your local hardware store and pick up a bag of sand, the kind of sand you'd use in, like, say, a child's sandbox. Or if you're really thrifty, you can do this. You can find basing material anywhere, especially after breakup. Just takes a little bit of elbow grease to get it if you want it. This is going to make some nice bases. But for today's project, we're going to go nice and easy, go down to the local retailer, Tier 1 Cards and Games, my favorite, and pick up a pot of Agrellan Badlands. Kona, can I get a pot of Agrellan Badlands, please? Cool. Thanks, man. Yep, GW makes a basing product that is all-in-one, so it's nice, simple, and easy. Hey, what's that over there? Is that new plastic Thunderhawk?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That is sweet. All right. So we've been out to the store and we picked up our Agrellan Badlands here. So we take our guy and give the Badlands a shake. Not that it really does anything. For this, a lot of people use different tools. You can use sculpting tools. You can use just about anything you want. This should give us a nice earthy tone, which will complement. I'm going to use just a Citadel base brush, but you can use a knife or a toothpick even, really. You just need to get some on the brush and just kind of take it and get it right on the model base and spread it around, cover the whole thing up. Now, if you make it thin enough, you should get nice dried out texture. You can go ahead and go right up to the boots. Just be careful not to spread too much all over anything but. And this is a really simple thing. You just, obviously it's just GWs. They have multiple different colors. Choosing a base color is really something that you should do to accentuate the model. A base should be considered like a frame for your guy. I think, when you go to an art show or any place that sells art, really, and check it out, you can basically just see that there is a nice frame to accentuate whatever you're looking at, whether it's the same color or not. So I'm going to go ahead and keep covering this guy up, and tomorrow, as soon as it dries, I'll come back to you. And this will usually take a little bit to dry. We're talking like probably about an hour to an hour and a half. So, and if you get a little spread over on the toes, it's not that big a deal, because let's face it, your guy's walking through whatever this is. He's gonna get some on his feet, so we're gonna go ahead and take care of that. And I will come back to you when this is all dry, and we'll go from the next step, because I think I'm gonna add some of that grass I showed you to it to give it just a little bit more oomph. So, all right, back in a bit. All right, guys. So we've got our guy here, and as you can see, the base has had time to dry, so you got a nice little look like this. Now we need to highlight it one way or another. There's a couple ways, one of which is to take and do a wash of Agrax Earthshade over the base, which will put some darkness down in the recesses and change the color a bit. Or you can do a dry brush of a lighter color. Now I've chosen to do a dry brush, and for this particular base, I prefer to use Screaming Skull rather than one of the Citadel dries. They just don't seem to work as well for me for some reason. So I'm just gonna do your basic dry brush. Get a little paint on the brush, and then work it into the bristles there. All right, and then you just dry brush it, because I want a more kind of arid look. And if you hit, with the bonus effect, if you also kind of hit the feet a little bit, it adds like a dusty look to the bottom. Make it look like he's been trudging through the desert a little bit there, which, is effectively what you've created here. So just kind of gotta hit everything there. You can see the effect on the feet. That's why I said earlier, don't worry about the getting a little extra on the feet there, because you're going to do a little bit of cleanup on it. So you just kind of want to hit the base and get a nice little dry brush to it, and hit up all the raised edges. Don't worry about the lip, because we're going to paint that here in just a second. Sorry, I seem to keep going out of focus there. And boom, done. So next step for me is to, since I want to put some of this grass on there, but the grass is a little too green for my taste for a dry region, so back to the pot again. And now you can get already dried out stuff, but I don't have any handy, so I'm just going to take it and give it a quick brush to make it seem a little bit more dried out than it is. Well, this was easier the last time I did it. You just kind of hit a little bit and make it, you get a little bit of green growth, but not very much that way. All right, so these pre-built ones like this, really simple and easy. You just open up your super glue. I recommend Mob Rules brand super glue. And then I should have tested to make sure the tip was clear. Just dab a little on there, and then you can find a spot that you want it to be. And then just honk right down onto that like that. Come back with your brush and tap it down so that it gets a nice secure grab. And I think that's about it for that. The last step is to take some Abaddon Black. You don't have to use Abaddon Black, but I prefer to do the rim of all my models that color. So just give it a shake and then grab your brush, get a little water so you get it thinned down. And for this, you got to take them off. And then you just paint the rim. And voila. You will have a fully completed, ready for table marine that is 100% tournament ready. And then meets a lot of actual requirements. Not quite sure why I'm going off camera this time so much, but I sure seem to be. Bing. Bang. Boom. Perfect. My one lone Ultramarine ready to rock and roll for the Emperor. Well, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this series on simple, easy ways to do stuff. It was actually kind of fun to paint it and get back to roots of just basic painting. I understand that, you know, a lot of people out there obviously aren't going to need to use a system like this. You know, we didn't do any edge highlighting, which is a standard technique. We used literally just the absolute basics to do it, just like as if you were just starting out. So if you are just starting out, I hope you enjoyed it. If not, you know, there are plenty of great guides on how to go nuts and paint something completely from scratch to master class level. But when you're painting, you know, 100 dudes, you don't really want to do that. So anyway, I've been Dave. Thanks for watching. Like the video, leave a comment. Let me know what I can show you how to do. You know, I do know how to do more stuff than just easy cheat the system ways. But if you want more cheat the system ways, I'll be happy to do stuff for you because I've kind of accumulated a lot of it over the years. So, all right. Thanks. Have a great day.